Hello and welcome to my shop, such as it is. We have another shop infrastructure video today. No, not the first aid stuff. That's for later. I have this old Acer Chromebook that I want to use as a shop computer. As much as any Chromebook is a computer. And what I want to do is I want to make a holder for it so I can just set it on the wall. And I want it to be able to be either portrait or a landscape as it sets. Hopefully it still turns on. I'm pretty sure it does. I've been thinking about how I want to do it, so let's get to designing. Okay, here we are. Now, I think the first thing I'm going to do here is just get the dimensions. In this case, getting the dimensions is very easy. Just trace the perimeter here. And then we will do on edge dimensions. And profile dimensions. I don't know if this part is still going to be on camera over here or not. Just sketching out some roughs here for now. Now this is what I was thinking. If we come out maybe halfway up, come out about ½ inch over, ½ inch down, like this, and come in maybe like ¼ inch here, voila, that gives us our holder like that. And this, of course, I hope this is on camera, would look something like this. A ¼ inch there, ¼ inch there, and that'll hold that. But I also want to do the landscape. Sorry, the profile. That one is the landscape. And I was thinking how to do this. And my thought was, if we come back here a little bit deeper, right? We could make a gap back here for this and just have like a little arm over on each one of these. So right about here, there'd be another set of wings coming in like that. So you'd have the landscape one in front, and then immediately behind that, there'd be another, not going to get that high, there'd be another flat coming this far in, and then behind that is the back base. So, in this one, I hope this is in the camera. So in this one, at this level, we'd see this coming under there, and then there'd be another piece here, and then there'd be a gap for the portrait, and then there'd be another piece here. And I think that's going to work. That's the goal. And I was thinking at first, if this was a separate piece and this was a separate piece, I'd have to do some joinery down there. And at first I was thinking of making this out of plywood. I've got some ¼ inch. That's about all I have left. I don't think I have any of the ½ inch left that would Yeah, I think all that 1/2 inch I have left is too small. So I might be making the back out of hardwood. And I was thinking, you know, if you cut this shape and then this shape, and you could stack, 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 stack with the plywood, with like 1/4 inch ply, you could do that. So you'd have like a backboard, and then a shape like that, and then another shape like that that's a little bit more of a gap, and then another shape like that. And I was thinking cutting all those shapes out is going to eat up a lot. It's going to leave a lot of scrap wood in all these areas here. But if you make it in layers, right, and just glue layer to layer to layer to layer, doink, 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 and just glue it right to that, then you don't need to do any joinery here. If this comes all the way down, and these are like flats, so this is an end grain. This is the end grain coming out this way. End grain is facing that way. So if you just stack them up and glue them all in a column like that, you'd be gluing long grain to long grain. Or I could just bring this down, make this out flat. No, so you'd still end up with end grain to long grain. It really makes the most sense to make this hardwood, and just do the dividers in 1/4 inch ply. Because we're not talking about a lot of weight here. It's just this. It weighs a couple of pounds. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So this is going to be my basic size right here. And this is going to be the basic thickness right here. And I'm going to have to do joinery right there. And the other pieces will be plywood. What do we got? I've got this piece of cherry that'll work. This I think is like a high quality pine, or what they call select pine. And it's not quite wide enough. Oh, yeah, it needs to be wider than that. All right, this is another piece of that select pine, but it's kind of chewed up here where I was using it for a backing fence with a router. Or, go with me on this journey. Oh, wow. No, it's not going to be deep enough. Or I have this lovely piece of oak that would actually suffice for the whole thing. So the back and the bottom are going to be made of oak. And then we'll use 1/4 inch ply for the dividing pieces. Which probably I'm only going to need 2. One in front of each of these. Oh, what about the sides though? Right, because this needs to be solid here. Well, that could just be 1/4 inch ply. So oak. And this, and down the side, we can do all that with 1/4 inch ply. Which, I get it, the oak is a lot prettier. Right, and we can't do all this with the cherry, I don't think. Right, because it's got to be like 1, 2 deep. Yeah. Yeah, so if I were to cut this piece for the cherry, then this would not be long enough to be the bottom part coming out. So we will save the cherry for something else. I've got one piece of 1/2-inch ply here. I mean, really, optimally, I'd make the whole thing out of 1/2-inch ply. Because it's just a utility piece. I also have this piece of pine, which is going to be a little too narrow to really suffice. I mean, I could. I could layer the 1/4 ply. I've got another 2x2 sheet. This is, I don't know, 18 by 18 now. No, I think I really want 1/2-inch. I really want at least 1/2-inch for the back and the bottom. And it would be nice to either go with all ply or all hardwood, because the mix of ply and hardwood is going to look a little weird. Let me check, make sure I don't see the dust coming down, because I've got ceiling tiles kicking around up here, which I've got to get rid of those. All right. Hardwood for the back and the bottom. Ply for the dividers. It's gonna look nasty, but I don't think there's any way around that. I don't have any hardwoods that are thin enough to really work as the dividers properly. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do 1/2-inch ply on the sides. We'll work through that. For starters, let's start on the base and the back. And figure out what type of joinery we're going to do here. I'm not ready for dovetails. I haven't tried a mortise and tenon. I have a router and a 1/4-inch chisel, so in theory I could do a mortise and tenon, but I think we're just going to do, what do they call it, like a box joint, kind of like dovetails, only not fluted, like that. So one piece will come down, it'll have divisions in there, and the other piece will come in, and it'll have divisions in there. That's what we're doing. Or, and I completely forgot about this for some reason, I've got this dowel jig kit. This would be a good opportunity to practice with this. We're going to do it with dowels. All right, first things first, we're going to get our oak cut down to size. You can see the whole board there. I'm going to use this end, pretty obviously, because it's got this giant ass knot in it. And since this is just like an infrastructure project, I don't really have to fill that in. All right, we're going to clear off the table saw here. Yes, I will be building a first aid box for these. I was just thinking through, actually, hold that thought.
was gathering up all my cans of like stain and varnish that I had kicking around. And I was wondering where to keep them all. And it kind of occurred to me, remembering from shop and school and stuff, they always had like a flammables cabinet. And I'm not going to get an actual flammables cabinet. I don't think I need that. But it occurred to me it would be good to have a metal cabinet to keep these all in. It would keep them a little safer. I'd have them all in one spot. And then I started thinking about what are the other things that you typically find in a shop. And I realized I really should have first aid stuff handy. Like Band-Aids and antibiotic spray or Neosporin or whatever. These I'm absolutely going to need. Maybe not the big bandages. But like cuts and the occasional splinter are just going to happen. So it's good to have these handy. I got the big ones in case of a bigger cut, gauze sponges and wrap in case of a much bigger cut, and tourniquets just in case, holy shit, I'm bleeding to death. I also got an eye wash station, which is up over there, that you just fill with distilled water. Because in addition, aside from the smaller scrapes and cuts, I think the biggest risk is getting something in my eye that's likely to happen. So anyway, I'm going to put this aside. Okay. The picture might be a little crooked. There's nothing I can do about that. All right, let's start by sizing this. Obviously, it's going to have to at least be the width of this, plus a little bit. Right, because I need to have sides coming up on each side to do the little wraparound pieces. So how much do we want to add on, do you think? Like an inch? I think this ruler is about an inch wide. Let's find out. Oh, it's going to run me right into that knot. That figures. It is indeed exactly an inch wide. So this gives us a length of more than 12 inches. This gives us a length of 12 5/8. So let's just do that. 12 5/8. That gives us ½ inch extra on each side, which should be plenty. I'm going to go 12 5/8 right to there. Strike a line, as they say in the biz. Need to get like a scoring tool. All right. Now I want to use the circular saw to make these finished cuts. But this board is kind of unwieldy to get into the table saw. So I think I'm going to grab the chop saw, chop off like to here, and then do the finished cuts on the table saw. Mask, glasses, hearing protection. PPE is a necessity. These N95s are not super comfortable. Just saying. Now I've got this set up. Oh, you can't see it. There we go. I've got this set up with its own little mini vacuum under there. So I didn't have to haul the big vacuum around all the time for this. And I've got it on its own little power circuit here. So as soon as I plug this in, the vacuum should kick on. We'll go down this way a little bit. So when I chop it, that starts to drop one. Now we're just going to cut this one rough. That blade was not happy about cutting through oak. Look at those burn marks. Woof! Possible that needs a new blade or it needs to be sharpened. But oak is pretty tough material. Now this one has a hose, but this just goes to the regular vacuum. Which is way over here off camera. And not plugged in. I probably ought to have a power strip on each side of the bench. But right now I don't. So here we are. Actually, no. See, and this just connects to that, and this gets stowed away. And let's get our blade height adjusted. I make sure to do all the blade adjustments with the saw unplugged. Anytime my fingers are going to be around that blade, it's unplugged. So, got this blade up. I'm going to do a test cut first. I've got a new DeWalt blade over there. Let's see how this blade handles the oak. And also, I've got my writhing knife. That's in another video. All right. PPP on. Dust collection on. Over there. Cut.
I always make sure to safe the saw as soon as I'm done using it. So, blade down and unplugged. It's a little cumbersome, but it's kind of what you have to do in a small shop space like this. All right. So this is going to be the back and the base. And we need to be able to fit at least 2 of these in here, which we can easily do with room to spare. In fact, so this sits flush against here. And then I'm going to have a 1/4 inch piece here. And then this thickness again, which we'll use this to simulate. And then another 1/4 inch piece here. So we actually probably want to rip this down a little bit. Nope. Yes, I'm using oak for this. Don't judge me. So roughly there. Back to the scrap wood you go. All right. It's about 1.5 inches. All right. Let's call that 1.5 inches, and we'll rip 1.5 inches off of this. No, I am not going to try and hand saw this. I don't know what you're thinking by suggesting that. Besides, I learned my lesson about trying to Japanese hand saw through hardwoods the other day when I tried to cut those cutting boards in half. Didn't you watch that video? I don't know why you'd suggest something like that when you've already seen me struggle with it. All right. Once more unto the breach. So now we don't use the crosscut sled. Instead we use the crap-ass rip fence. It's a pain in the ass because this, you can't see it. Look, this lever is sticking out right here, right where I'm trying to put the board. So if I want the board back here to do a measurement, I can't because of the stupid rip fence lever. All right. Right about there. Okay. PPE again. Every time. You know, even if it's just a little cut, even if it's just a short, quick cut, PPE every time. Push the candy. Made this myself. Oh, I unplugged my dust collection. Son of a... It's binding right here. It's possible that the rip fence isn't square. I may have to look into that. I thought it was the riving knife. And I forgot to turn the dust collection back on. So I'm finding when I do rips, when the board starts crossing the point of the riving knife here, it's binding. See the blade mark where it paused. There's no burning. I thought maybe it was the thickness of the riving knife, because I think I have a thinner kerf blade on, but it's entirely possible that this is not sitting perfectly square. That's going to be infrastructure work for another day. It is handy in a small shop to have things like that on wheels. Yes, I'm wearing pajama bottoms. Deal with it. It's my shop. I'll dress comfy if I want to. Here we are. There's our side and our back. We're going to want our drill bits.
And just grab the spare battery while I'm at it. It should be fully charged. All right. Never used this before, so let's take a look at it. Let's see what the instructions say to us. If there are any instructions. Got a tool, got a couple of nibby thingies. There's some drill bits in here. We've got this thingy. We've got the cutest little bottle of white glue. An assortment of these, an Allen wrench, an assortment of these, whatever the hell these are. Got some little thingies over here, whatever those are. There we go. All right, I'm going to read for a moment. Why don't you go, grab a cup of coffee or something? Or whatever time it is for you. Oh, this is, yeah, off the printer and stapled together. That's high quality. Getting started. Choose the best dowel pin size based on the thickness of your project boards. Well, we're going to go with the smallest ones, which are the 1/4 inch dowels. Determine the drilling depth based on the type of joint you are making. We're doing a corner joint. Board thickness, dowel pin. Oh, these are stop collars. That's nice to have in there. So dowel pin stop collar is 6 millimeters. So I'm assuming this is the smallest, so this is our 1/4 inch bit. Yep, it says 1/4 right on the shaft. It's a little thing of metal. Sometimes you get that when you have these turned, cheaply turned products, you get that a little bit of metal still in there. Like, I don't know, it's not properly cleaned out or something. That cleaned it out. All right. So, we want to set the drill stop for 6 millimeters. Get our little 6-inch carpenter square out. Oh, nice. They've got these brad points on them. Can you see that? The camera's not going to focus on that, probably. Maybe you'll see that. There's a little point coming off of there. 6 millimeters. So that's 1/2 centimeter plus 1. 1/2 centimeter is 5 millimeters. Really? 6 millimeters? That doesn't seem right. Because this is 3 millimeters long. So I want to go 1.5. I want to go 1.5. This is 3 centimeters long, so I want to go 1.5 centimeters deep, which is not 6 millimeters. Oh, dowel pin drill stop collar. So also a 1/4 inch? No, that's not right. All right. This is measuring out to be 3 millimeters.
So let's set the drill stop collar for 1.5. Right about there. Think I need to use a little common sense here. That's what I'm saying. Let's make sure that's not going to drill. It's not going to go all the way through the board, but it's pretty damn near all the way through the board. Like the brad point's going to come poking out. Do they recommend that you trim the pin off? I don't know. Anyway, holes should be drilled 1/8 inch deeper than the length of the dowel's insertion depth to provide room for the glue. For corner joints and surface joints, reference illustration for 2A for the proper depth. Wow. I'm just going to do this and see how it turns out. All right. Making corner joints. Align your boards to their finished position and then mark 1 and 2. All right, I know which one is 1 and 2. Clamp board 1 with the edge being joined facing up. Okay. Clamp board 1 with the edge being joined facing up. Done. Insert the proper size drill bit into the appropriate joint mate bushing. Holding the joint mate upside down, position it over the board so the self-centering posts straddle the board's edge. That seems to be centering that middle one. Ah, there we go. That seems to be self-centering that one. Oh, but you know, we're going to have to drill all the way down through this and then into the board. Desired location for the first pin. Well, how do I know what the desired location for the first pin is? Let's measure. I'm going to take this collar off. Oh, you know, the collar's going to have to go up here somewhere, right? Because this is going to go down in like that. And then this distance here is the distance we're going to be drilling into the wood. See, we're learning together. And what's better than that? Learning together. What do you think, 5?
So we're just over 12 and a half. So if we come in an inch and come in from this side an inch, and then come up 2 inches or 3, let's call it 3 inches. And then 1, 2, 3 inches on this one. And let's split the difference. That's 5 and a half. Yeah, let's call it 3, whatever. Close enough. Close enough. Oh, of course. Come here, Midgie. So you're learning with me. So when you get your very own drill stop kit, you'll know what to do. Except we can't quite go to an inch there. Because I think this, yeah, this line here is a little plastic line right there. An inch and a half, an inch isn't making it, so let's go an inch and a half. I think we can do an inch and a half with this. Yeah, there we go. That works. All right, so this, from this point up, needs to be 1.5 centimeters. Looks to be right about there. Okay. So now I'm pretty sure I just lock that on and drill, right? Starting at one end of the board, firmly holding your joint mate with the power off, insert the drill bit. Okay. Time to get dangerous. You guys should be holding this with this hand. Even though this feels a little awkward. I don't know if that one's properly aligned or not. All right. Let's
says put the dowels in the holes. Yeah, maybe. They're going to be used to align the next set. Attach the guide fence Where's the guide fence? Where's the guide fence? Ah, I see. Right, that goes in like that. All right, that slides like that. Now we're going to hold it this side up. It's a little wobbly. Oh, okay, this gives us our depth. I don't know why we need that. Okay, what now? Unclamp board 1, place board 2 flat on your work surface. What, you just fucking eyeball it? Oh. Okay. This is the edge. We're going to drill these. You put this on top of here. And you've got to clamp the boards together. So you do the number 4 onto there, and then you slide this up. So this hole is going to be at the right depth for that. And then you have to get your boards aligned and presumably square with each other. And then you've got to clamp them in place. This is going to be, you know, right, because I can come out here. Let's get a clamp or 2. I think these will work. So yeah, right, the depth needs to be taken into account. And the right and left. So let's do this one side at a time. I think these will, I mean, I know they can open wide enough. Yeah. All right, let's get a loose clamp on here. That. Just go into here. Needs to be at that depth. And
right to left positioning. Tighten that clamp down. So obviously, you really can't put the dowel pins too close together. Well, I mean, you kind of can. You'll just have to pop them out. And I'll have to pop the clamp off to do this one. So check that depth. Seems good. All right, I think we're all set on the depth. Now, I think we just pop the dowel in there, pop that in like that, and just run our hole through there. Pretty sure that's what's going to happen here. Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen here. So that's going to go on like that. Oops, looks like that shifted a little bit. Correct that way a little bit. Okay. Now we put this on here and we drill away. Now, pin in the next one. I think it's going to take a little bit of practice to really get the hang of this, but it seems to get the job done. A little bit of slop in there, I'm not going to lie. It's not, you know, it's not perfect. All right, now we just got to get this first one done, which means removing this clamp. And we'll move it over to the center of the board. There's a whole lot of clamping room there, but we'll get it doing. All right, looks like it's still good. The phone shut off on me. Is it full? It can't be full. All right. Now it's backwards.
It's off a tiny bit by maybe a 64th. I don't know if you can see that. This is elevated just enough to feel a ridge there. But not bad. Maybe with a little practice, I can get it so it's perfectly square. This is absolutely going to suffice for this purpose, though. So I think we should glue and clamp that. What do you think? Actually, let's put our dowel things away first. No, I am not going to use this. I am not in desperate times, and definitely does not call for that desperate of a measure. All right, there's that. This needs to come off for that to fit in there. I mean, it's nice that there's a case that it packs entirely into. It's slightly annoying that you have to completely disassemble the thing to do it. But whatever. C'est la vie. I have no idea what these are. I suppose I can learn that later. It's a handy place to keep my dowels, though. Oh. Keep the Allen wrench with it. All right. That was reasonably successful. Need to get a vacuum in here. All right. Let's go get the glue. For this one, we'll use the less tastic glue. Once again, this is not going to be a high load situation here. This does not work anymore. It's long since clogged up. So I got to figure out how to do this now. I mean, optimally, see if I can just squeeze some glue near the top. There we go. There we go. That works. Careful not to pour it out. You have a little glue on there. Use that to run a bead of glue and stick it in the opening. Well played. Okay. I probably should put a little bit of glue in the openings up here too. That's going to be a lot trickier. Whoops. I'll have to wipe that up afterwards. Glue on the top of each of these pins. And now we'll smear some glue along here. Do you like a smear with that? Apparently schmear is New York for cream cheese, or so I'm told. A bit of squeeze out here, that's good. All right. So it is about 9:30 my time. So I think I am gonna clamp this up and call it a night. And we'll finish it, I don't know, tomorrow probably. These are kind of much larger than I need, but I probably should get some shorter versions of these. Oops. You know what? I want one in the middle there too. Good thing I bought 3 of them. All right. That's it for tonight. I'll see you when I see you next. I don't know if this will be the end of the video or if I'm going to continue it on after that. Maybe in a second video. We'll see.